All right.
Okay.
There we go.
There.
So
Everybody listening,
they
or
get
they're
back.
trying to get the scoop on you, and there's like 18
Oh,
million
there's a lot
background
going
noises.
on.
It's
So
like-
I end up, we get back into the room probably around 8 or so. And at that point, what I remember scarfing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Okay.
I remember scarfing the dried mangoes you had brought for me. And it was miserable though, because they had to check my blood pressure every hour. So they had left, and it was on a timer. So they had left the blood pressure wrap around my arm. Every hour on the hour, it would go off. I was sleeping upright because I think they needed to just kind of keep me upright. I had these bandages on my groin because of the catheters, and it was miserable. So I didn't sleep very well that night. And at one point during the night, the heart monitor battery, the backup battery conked out, and it went off like, and I was dozing off. I was dozing off at that point when it went off. And I turned to the monitor and I thought to myself, am I flatlining? Is this what happens? Well, well, how do you know? How have you ever flatlined before?
No, thank God.
Yeah.
I don't plan to.
No. So anyways,
you have this ablation. You are now on format. I mean, you're
well,
really
hold on.
giving us a lot of
So, well,
you wanted to go into it. My
no,
God, you're
I think
giving us a
people
lot
need,
of
I think
detail.
aware people need to know what's going on, right? So,
Okay.
so anyways,
Let him take the stage here. All right.
so,
He loves the mic. Bro.
spent most of Thursday, just Thursday was recovering, didn't feel great, of course. But we were able to push and get me discharged that evening, which was good. And now post-op, I'm recovering, and I'm on
several medications.
I'm on a beta blocker, a blood thinner, and an anti-stomach acid pill, because we don't want stomach acid to erupt to hit any of the ablations, because while the procedure was successful, they weren't able to induce the atrial tachycardia. They were able to get it, and it quickly degenerated into AFib. So what they had to do was ablate all 4 pulmonary veins to ensure that they had an idea which one it was, but rather than guess, they decided to do all 4.
I mean,
which I'm not sure if it was buy one, get one, or 3 and the 4th is, 3 and the 4th is free, but we'll find out when the bill comes.
I know. I'm really curious about the bill. I think it's going to be steep.
Let's see what your insurance covers.
You've been in the hospital. You were in the hospital for 5 days.
There goes Christmas vacation.
Oh no, we're going on vacation. I need a vacation after this, and I want a pair of Chanel earrings just to be through the torture.
Back to you. All right.
Oh my God, I was so stressed out. It was awful. Like, I couldn't even believe. Why did this happen to you? You're so young. You're in your early 50s. Shape. You're not a vegan anymore. You're a pescatarian.
It's a fluky thing. This sort of arrhythmia is common, or when I say common, it can occur just randomly. You see or hear about professional athletes who have irregular heart rhythm. And these are some of the, most healthiest individuals in the world.
Yeah, I'm curious. Our listeners are the best. So they always give me a lot of feedback. So, it's funny because I'd never heard of a cardiac ablation until you have one. And then a lot of people come out of the woodwork, like extended family, friends. And my Uncle George, our Uncle George, he had one, and he made me feel better too, because he said basically 3 days after, he was out on a hot date in Stamford, Connecticut with a guy.
We don't need to go down. I mean, as it's Pride Month, and I'm supportive of all lifestyles, and
he's like 7. I mean, he was like 69 when he had it, and I mean, 3 days later,
right back on a hot date,
right on there on the apps.
Prowl. Well,
it didn't even slow him down.
My apps out.
I know. So I figured, I mean,
yep.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think we can have hot sex now. I don't know what you're waiting for.
It's all about you. Excuse me.
So, but I'm curious from listeners that their spouses have had it. do you ever need anything? Because they're basically like, does it ever recur again, or is everything good? Because a lot of people say to me, once after you've had it and you have this ablation, like, that's it, you don't need anything else. So
That's
I'm
the hope.
praying.
The hope is that it's done it the first time. There is a risk or potential of having to do it again. And hold on,
Where's your phone? Where's my phone?
Ugh.
Your toenails. And your toenails need to be clipped. Sorry, I know, but your toenails are long and mommy's got to do your toenails.
So we gotta kill this volume. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry. No. So, very scary. I wanted to update our listeners. Thank God. I mean, you look better than ever. Are you feeling better?
I am on the road to recovery, between anesthesia and the beta blockers. I'm low energy at the moment, but
You are.
I'm feeling it will take a couple days. Oh, this is
KJ, Daddy's
why you don't have a 3-man booth. Hey,
hold on. Let's go get him back on TV.
Yeah,
Hold
come
on.
here. Let's
Okay,
go watch. You go talk about yourself for a moment.
Oh, no problem. Well, actually, good. I can thank some sponsors. Well,
Yeah,
speaking
you
of
go.
medical, all right. Oh my God, what a stressful week, you guys. And he makes it sound like it's all about me. I'm sorry. Everybody who is listening to this, who has had their significant other go through something medically, or yourself, I mean, your mind goes to the worst place. I'm out here in California. Thank God Dan's brother lives out here, so he was able to help us. I mean, shout out to Uncle Mike and, our amazing, so many people that are in our lives that were able to take KJ. But, it is oftentimes these things are more stressful for the spouses than they are for the person having it, right? Am I wrong? All right, let's thank two sponsors, and then Schman will come back and give everybody the final wrap up here. Boston Hernia, bostonhernia.com/TSFS. Oh my God, you speak of medical things. Thank God we've had incredible.
They weren't my surgeons when I had my hernia, but I wish they were.
No.
Boston Hernia.
I know. I'm telling you, they're the best. They're in the top 10 hernia doctors in the country because they specialize in 4 different types of hernia. You should never. I wish we had known them, because you should never get hernia surgery without them seeing you, and they do virtual calls.
They sound like they know what they're doing.
They're unbelievable, and they are known for, if you do not want to use heavy narcotics after, their surgeries are so good, so fine and detailed that most people only need ibuprofen and Tylenol after. So if you're worried about taking heavy narcotics, or you've had an addiction issue in the past, they completely work with you. They take all insurance. And a lot of times people do not need hernias, and they get a hernia surgery because they are misdiagnosed. And the other thing which happened to you is 25% of all men will have a hernia in their lifetime. Most men are just referred to a general surgeon who does their hernia surgery. And did you know hernia surgery is one of the #1 surgeries that ends up in chronic pain? Because general surgeons they're not specialized. So they don't do it correctly sometimes.
Got to go to the experts.
BostonHernia.com/TSFS. I love them.
Me too.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they'll give you another bikini shave. God forbid. We're not getting another incident.
No, we're going to stay out of the hospital for a while.
Please. You're tired. Thank God you're home. You're recovering. What if your doctor said any special instructions, like anything we're supposed to do?
Just monitor for certain symptoms, like, the big concern are blood clots, but monitor that, rest. But they said after a couple of days, you can resume normal activities. So that's a wild thing. I mean,
I know.
it's